Hi, everyone. Welcome to Curated by Becta's Meal Kit number 152 for June 8th to the 10th. Thanks for ordering this week, and thanks for letting us deliver something really special for you at home. We've got a beautiful and actually pretty easy meal to put together for you tonight. So we have our lovely marinated flank steak, and we're going to get started on this because the salad is very easy to put together. So take the steak out of the sous vide bag, hit it with some salt and pepper, both sides. I've gone ahead and taken our broccoli, tossed it with some olive oil, salt, and pepper, generous amount of olive oil, and then put it in the oven, and then put it for 15 minutes at 450 degrees, or if you're like me, 425 with a convection oven. So generous amount of salt and pepper. Don't forget to pat the steak dry. We're good. You want to get your pan nice and hot. And we're going to turn on the hood fan, so apologies, it's going to be a little bit loud for this, but not too much. We don't have to put it on super high. And so we want 1 tablespoon per person for the steak of neutral oil, and I want to make sure with our roasty, same thing, 1 tablespoon per person in both. Okay, the steak pan is getting hot, and the roasty I want to get a little bit hotter. I'm using cast iron for both, but with the roasty, you can use non-stick pan as well. That just works fine. So the steak is probably ready to go, and it's going to take 1 minute less than the roasty because we have to rest it. So why don't we throw that in there? While the roasty pan is warming up, let's have a little wine. Wine pairing this week with the strawberry and spinach and basil salad is a beautiful Chenin Blanc from the Stellenbosch region of South Africa. Pure Spardome, one of my favorites. It just screams summertime. Okay, so what do we do next? The roasty is probably next. So the pan is warm, and the way you can tell, by the way, is put a little water in your hands. There you go. If it pops, you know that it's ready. So roasty is going 2 minutes per side, and then we're going to throw it in the oven. If you have an oven-safe pan, like a cast iron, great. And if not, you can put it on the baking sheet that your broccoli is on. Same thing, and you can even time it the right way. So 2 minutes on this, 2 minutes on that, so we're going to flip it in a second. So I can start thinking about my salad. So the spinach, we're going to throw the basil in there. For the big basil leaves, make sure you rip them, because who wants to eat a really massive basil leaf the same size as spinach? You don't want that. So give it a nice tear, but the fresh basil gives such a nice freshness to this salad. All right, and I know my steak is probably seared on one side, so let me toss that over before I start tossing this. That's a nice sear. So when the other side gets nice and brown, we're going to turn the pan down to low, melt some butter in there, and then we are going to baste it on both sides. So I've got my spoon going on. The mushrooms are going to be for afterwards. Make sure not to throw away the good stuff in the pan, the fawn from the steak, because that is going to make it really nice. Okay, so we're probably at 2 minutes for the roasty. So let's turn it over. Turn that up just a bit. My medium high and chef's medium high is maybe a little off. So if you're using induction like I am, I would say a number 8 is going to be the right way. And then I'm just going to toss that right in. Steak is there. So the vinaigrette, so we need some salt and pepper for the salad. And then our spiced honey vinaigrette, they probably put a little bit too much for me. So I'm not going to use it all. Get another pair of tongs. And we're going to top with the strawberries. We're not going to mix them in. I am going to get them to send me a little more spinach though, because maybe this looks a little light. Okay. Now it's been 2 minutes on the steak. We've got a nice crust on both. So 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter per person. Turn it down to low. Melt that butter in there. And then we're going to start on the basting. Let's see how my roasty is doing. Good. Feels like I need a little more oil in there. And it's possible that my induction stove is not completely level, which is what the problem is maybe. I'm going to try to work that out soon. Okay, now that the butter is melted, and please do this for all steaks, not just for flank steaks and not just curated meals. This gives it a luxuriousness that you get out of restaurant quality steaks. So, butter bathing all the steaks, all the time. It's the way to do it. Turn this over. Both sides get the love. And now that I'm done searing, well, maybe I'm not done searing if my pan is smoking over there a little bit with the roasty, because the oil is moved to the bottom. I really do need to level that induction so it's nice and flat. So I'm going to turn that off. And the steaks can go right here. Now let's see how my roasty is doing. Very nice. I'm going to put that whole thing in the oven. But again, make sure you have an oven-safe pan. If not, just put it on the tray where the broccoli is. Okay, now that's resting. The mushrooms need to go in here now, so we can turn this back on to medium-high heat. I can turn that guy off. And the mushrooms go in there, and we're going to give them a nice little stir. Hit them with some salt and pepper. Oyster mushrooms from our friends at Le Copain that we've been using for 20 years now. And the salt draws at the water of the mushrooms, so that's a really good thing. All right, so let's plate up the salad. Yeah, we really need some more basil and spinach. That's really funny. They packed me enough for one person, but lots of strawberries. So I'm going to do this as like the presentation salad, and then this one will be more of another salad. That's a first. Usually they give me too much. And this is why we do the test runs the night before we send out our kits. Lots of strawberries over there. All right, and now we've got the feta. Let me make sure I'm moving this along. Oh yeah, another life hack with steaks, always rest them. When you rest them for about half as long as it took to cook is the general rule of thumb, but the chef suggested 5 minutes for this guy because it's already cooked sous vide. It will relax the meat and the juices will stay in there, and it's a really great thing to do. Okay, now the feta. I think we're going to need a spoon on this. And crumble the feta on top. And they sent me a little too much feta. Again, this is why we do the test run before. I'm going to give this one to my wife because she loves basil and spinach. I'll eat the strawberry and feta heavy one. I love that you guys get to see the behind the scenes. See, I'm glad that you watched the video. Okay. Where am I? There we go. Yeah, and you don't want to put too much salt and pepper on the mushrooms because there is some salt and pepper already in the pan. In the meantime, let me pull my dessert out in such a way so that you don't see all of the silliness that is in my fridge. And then last thing that we need is the walnut brittle is going to go on top here. It's going to add some really nice nuttiness and sweetness. That's a good looking salad. So, lovely strawberry, basil, and spinach salad. with the crumbled feta and the spiced honey vinaigrette and the walnut brittle. Main course, let's get them over here. Mushroom's good. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. Okay, might as well plate the dessert. Where did my dessert go? Aha, pushed it out of the way. A raspberry and dark chocolate tart with lemon confit and cocoa nibs. I like using a bowl for this guy. And it's pretty easy. Cocoa nibs, toss it around. And then our lemon confit is going to be a little liquidy. It's a nice thing. And you got some juices in there, why not throw it around? Make sure to clean up the bowl or plate. It's all pretty. Presentation is important. And there is our lovely dessert tonight. Okay, mushrooms looking good. I'm going to basically turn that off and it will keep cooking a little bit in the pan. Hey Google, how much time's left on the timer? There we go, 1 minute, 48 seconds. And that was for the broccoli, but I also put it in a little early. So I'm going to tell you about this delicious red wine from Bordeaux, a Bordeaux Superior. Make sure I get it right, Chateau La Motte de Berry. And it's 100% Merlot, which we don't do a lot of. And it's organic and it's just bright. And there's no oak on this at all. And so you get the real juicy taste of the fruit. And it's almost got a little savory soy quality, which is what the steak is marinated in. So good to go. Let me bring the steaks over. And when you rest your steaks, you're going to give up a little bit of heat, and actually, why not take some of the drippings there, throw it in with the mushrooms, but it's so much more enjoyable and so much more tender. So against the grain. So there's the grain. So we want to cut it against the grain. And then you can flip the outside piece. Flank steak is like the easiest one to see where the grain is. Okay. Little trivet here. I'm going to do the roasty first. Nice on both sides. Hey Google, off. So my timing was actually pretty good. Turn the oven off so I don't forget that. Broccoli is good to go. Got a nice little char on it. Half and half, even though our son is working tonight at a local restaurant, which is not one of mine. And make sure to leave some space for the chimichurri mayo, which is going to go down. Mushrooms next. And the steak is going to basically go on top of the roasty. These are great mushrooms in the steak pot, so make sure to get it all. Spread that out. Make sure you can see the roasty. And you can hit it with a little bit of finishing salt. And then the chimichurri mayo, and then you are all set. Do the chef's swoosh. Move that piece of broccoli because that's going to get in the way. The green is great against the brown. Got all the mayo because that's literally like the best thing. All right, which one's a little prettier? I think we're going for this one. There's our lovely roasted flank steak, marinated with the soy marinade, the oyster mushrooms, roasted broccoli, potato roasty, which I'm going to move so we can see it a little bit more in the picture, and the chimichurri mayo. I hope you love your meal. Thanks for ordering. Thanks for watching. And I really hope we get to cook and curate for you again very soon. And Father's Day coming up next week. So we're doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday instead of Thursday to Saturday. And a brand new Big Night In. Both of them are going to be fantastic. So hope to get you some deliciousness then soon.